Hello again. Today I would like to talk about several concepts that I have mentioned before and link them together. The reason I decided to talk about this is that I continually notice that people tend to think of life or have a certain philosophy about life in this way or that way. Even though they might be aware, they sometimes fall into the idea of dualism, that not more than one thing can exist at the same time. Even though they know that everything is connected, they know that things link together, their ego shows them one way of all the things that are linked together, even though they know they are linked together. And when they do, they tend to interpret an event only through that particular philosophy or that particular way, which obviously limits them to seeing the bigger picture. For example, the law of attraction, which I've mentioned before. When people talk about the law of attraction, they tend to only view the law of attraction instead of just accepting that this is one law out of many laws, and it interacts and it's one factor interacting with many factors that affect your life and manifest things within your life. And because of this, they tend to only see the aspect of attracting what is negative or attracting positive things through what is going on within you. And they forget about something that is very important, which is choice. At every moment of life, you have choice and options. And as we talked before, because of our perception and the limits that it creates, we tend to see certain options only of all the options that exist. And when we focus on one, probability of that option increases, meaning it becomes more probable that this will manifest in your life. So if you only believe that the law of attraction is active in your life, and that, for example, a negative situation came your way, and then you thought, well, I must have done something wrong. That's not really the issue. Life is a continuous learning journey, meaning whatever situation that comes your way, it has a purpose that it came on your way. Yes, it is connected to what is within you, but does not mean that you did something wrong in a sense that there is blame or that you are off the path. No, we are in a continuous process of learning. So things that whatever came your way has a reason for coming away, and knowing why it's there is important, and using it as a learning tool in order to grow more is important too. At the same time, that does not mean that you need to endure it in the sense that, well, I will endure this and it will pass. There are many options to deal with the situation that came your way. Even if it's negative, is there something positive about it? What can you take from it? Is there a different option of dealing with this particular situation? Are there any different choices? Can I ask someone to help me? Etc., etc., etc. At every moment, if you attract a positive thing or negative thing, there are options about what to do. And I've noticed that many people forget that aspect. I'm not sure why, but they tend to either believe that whatever is happening to them, they just have to accept, and that is really important because the resistance tends to increase the situation. But acceptance does not mean you just have to sit down and do nothing about it. And I'm really surprised that most people think that because they accept it, that means they should not do anything about it. And that is not a very beneficial thing to do, because sometimes there's a way out. There's always a way out, actually. If you look for it, if you try to find it. Sometimes it's very obvious and sometimes it's not, but there's always a way out. A way out does not mean that you escape the situation. No, a way out meaning you pass through the situation. That is really what it means to accept and pass through and let go of whatever happened within the situation. Granted, learning from it is the most important part, of course. Sometimes these situations can be small in nature, as in nothing major in your life would change, and sometimes they are life-changing. For example, I noticed the other day that I tended to use the word responsibility in a very positive manner. And the reason is, this is how it's present in my mind. My perception of it. It is something positive. It is the opposite of being forced or having a burden. And to me, responsibility is connected to freedom, that one is able to do things and know what they want. And then I found out that I was working with someone and then used the word with this person, and this person then was asking generally that he doesn't really understand what it means to be responsible. Then I thought to myself, well, let me look it up. I explored this further with them, and I found out that the word itself is very negative. When defined in a dictionary, it was synonymous with burdens and forced things, and its opposite is actually freedom. And I was really surprised that it was linked to these things even. That the idea that you have the ability to choose, the ability to say, I will be responsible for this because I want to, turned out to be a burden or a forced thing that made no sense to me. How is it something that is a value like responsibility turned into something negative? This is also linked to blaming. And apparently blaming tends to be an epidemic, really, in our society. We blame others. We blame even things that are not living, like the weather. It's the weather's fault I came late. It is my neighbor's fault. It is my son's fault. It's my friend's fault. My sister's fault. It's my dog's fault. And many of these times, we actually believe it is this person's or this thing's fault. But somehow we remove the responsibility that we had an action. We decided to do something. So you're responsible for the consequences and the action. This is not a burden or any type of forcing. No, you made a decision. Whether it's an aware or an unaware decision, that's another thing. But you made a decision. You made a choice. And sometimes people talk about forced choices. No, there's no forced choices. This is the choices you see or you perceive. Then you choose one of them. And then you tell me, well, sometimes a situation is really negative. How can you say that it wasn't forced? Yes, sometimes a situation is negative, but you made the choice. Nobody made you do that. To escape, to run away, to not deal with your problems. That's always a choice. No matter how strong, painful they are, your escape is your choice. People don't like hearing such things because they don't want to have to deal with consequences. But really, if you think about it, because you made the decision, the consequences will come on their own. So what are you doing? Just pushing it off some more? So you push it off and off and off, and it becomes a loop because you don't want to deal with a certain situation. There was a way through things. And yes, acceptance, learning, and understanding that you made that choice, and because of that choice, things happened because of the law of cause and effect. That means you're responsible for the consequences. Not a burden, no. Just responsible because you made the choice. This topic is not really always easy to talk about because some of the things people go through is really, really hard. And I'm not in any way saying whatever they went through, whatever you're going through is any less or unimportant or just something you just gotta accept. You gotta get accepted and get on with your life. I don't mean it in that way at all. But remember that the idea of choice gives you the ability to change things. Because without the freedom of choice, what do you have? Even with all the madness the situation can get you in, and let's not forget there's different factors. One of them is you and your decisions that led to that, and whatever was attracted in the situation. But that means you still have an aspect of power to change things by making different decisions or new decisions. I hope this video will help you understand more on a bigger scale how things interact that lead to a certain situation. Until next time, thank you for listening. Bye.